If you're moving to St. Louis and you have money to spend, then Ladue is the place for you when it comes to high-end luxury living. So let's talk about it. Ladue is one of my favorites. It is a very beautiful, very wealthy suburb in mid-county St. Louis County, and it's got a lot of stuff going for it, especially when it comes to the luxury real estate market. And real quick, if you're moving to the St. Louis area this year and you want help with the process of buying a house and relocating to the St. Louis area, whether it's in Ladue, Chesterfield, Wildwood, Lake St. Louis, or Wentzville, whatever it is, and you need help, get in touch with me. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. Whatever works for you. I work with relocation buyers every single week, and it is by far my favorite part of my job because I absolutely love it. So Ladue is a very beautiful suburb in mid-county St. Louis County. It's on the smaller side, so there's about 8,600 people that live in Ladue. It's going to be the zip code 63124, and over the last 6 months, the median sold price of a house in Ladue is $933,000. So Ladue is definitely on the high end of home prices in St. Louis. Again, Ladue is one of my favorites. Just the elegance, the wealth, the style, it's chic, it's classy, but it is expensive. So let's talk about what exactly it looks like to live in Ladue. So Ladue is in mid-county. It's pretty central in St. Louis County, and you're in the vicinity of a bunch of other prestigious suburbs too, like Huntleigh, Clayton, Frontenac, and Westwood, a bunch of wealth that's all centered in that mid-county corridor. In Ladue, you got a bunch of high-end restaurants, shopping, entertainment. You're right next to downtown Clayton too, which is awesome, and Ladue has several country clubs and racket clubs to choose from if you're into golf. Ladue also has some of the top private and public schools in the state of Missouri, and the real estate in Ladue is unbelievable. Anywhere between $1 million and $15 million. I mean, the homes in Ladue are just beautiful and they are gorgeous in every possible way. Ladue is basically the LA of St. Louis. It's like the Greenwich, Connecticut of Missouri, the Ritz-Carlton of the Midwest, if you will. It's very elegant, very classy, and a very wealthy part of town. It's very posh, very classy. I mean, this is where all of St. Louis's elite come to live. The wealthy, the well-connected, doctors, lawyers, business owners and executives, entrepreneurs, the star athletes from, the Cardinals and the Blues, a bunch of well-known people in the St. Louis area who live in Ladue. Like I mentioned before, Ladue has a population of about 8,600 people. So it's not the largest suburb in St. Louis, but it's not tiny. And it also has one of the highest median incomes in the state of Missouri, about $200,000 a year. If you're looking on a site like niche.com or citydata.com, you will see that Ladue has its own public school system that is also very highly rated. So Ladue Schools incorporate all of Ladue and then some of the areas around it as well, like Frontenac, Huntleigh, Westwood, Olivet, and some parts of Creve Coeur. It's a very sought after school district to be in if you can afford it, because Ladue can be expensive. Ladue also has two very sought after prep schools if you're interested in private schools. So they're gonna be John Burroughs and MICDS. MICDS is where I graduated. The name is needlessly long, which is why it's abbreviated to MICDS, and it stands for Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. Way too long if you ask me. The reason for that is that there were two separate schools before, Mary Institute, a girls' school, and St. Louis Country Day, a boys' school. They combined, MICDS. And if you haven't been to St. Louis before or you're not familiar with the area, we kind of do this small town little thing. We ask where you went to high school all the time. It's not just St. Louis. I know that other cities do that as well, but it'll be like a very basic question everyone asks when you meet someone, like, oh, what's your name? Where are you from? Where'd you go to high school? And it's kind of like this status thing a lot of people do, because when you look at someone and they say something like, oh, I went to Ladue Horton Watkins or MICDS or John Burroughs, it's like a status thing with like that wow factor of like, oh wow, you went to school in Ladue, or like, oh wow, you went to an expensive private school, So yeah, unfortunately sometimes the whole high school conversation becomes like a status competition in St. Louis. I'm not really sure why. And for some reason, the whole private school thing is a really big deal in areas like Ladue and Frontenac and that whole mid-county area where there's a lot of wealth. Even though they have a very phenomenal public school system, a lot of people still go to private schools. The other thing with Ladue is that it's a very well-connected and close-knit network of people. Everyone knows each other in some capacity. They all went to school together or college together, whatever it is. They grew up together. Everyone in Ladue always seems to know each other. I've never lived in Ladue, but since I went to school in Ladue, I guess I kind of fit in with the MICDS Ladue community, so that's why I understand what the network looks like. It's just one of those very interconnected parts of town, and I see this all the time with my friends and my past classmates. You'll see the same prominent last names all over town or on buildings and statues around campus. People will grow up, they'll go to college after graduating high school, and then come back to St. Louis and take over the family business and kind of continue that pattern. So that's kind of how the whole Ladue community works, if you will. Ladue has a bunch of high-end restaurants, boutiques, and stores in Ladue and in the surrounding areas. Ladue is right next to Plaza Frontenac, which is a huge high-end shopping mall with a bunch of luxurious restaurants around it. And there's also downtown Clayton, which has a bunch of high-end restaurants there. There's also going to be some more, smaller shops in Town and Country and Kirkwood, depending on what your style is. There's a lot of stuff to do in the Ladue area. And Ladue also has Tillis Park, which is a beautiful park located in Ladue, and every year during the holiday season, they will put up a ton of holiday lights and Christmas lights and have people come drive through from all over St. Louis that just come to drive through Tillis Park and look at the lights. It is beautiful, and it's just one of those things that everybody does every year. You gotta go drive through the Winter Wonderland in Tillis Park during Christmas time. It's a St. Louis tradition. And if you enjoy golf and that country club lifestyle, there are several country clubs to choose from both in Ladue and in the surrounding areas like Westwood, Creve Coeur, Glendale, Webster Groves. There's a bunch of country clubs all in that general area. So you're probably thinking, okay, cool, that sounds great. High-end restaurants, shopping, country clubs, great schools. What's the drawback of Ladue? Well, it is expensive to live in Ladue. The median sold price of a house in Ladue over the last 6 months is $933,000, which is appropriate. It fluctuates between the 900s and the low millions or so. Ladue is a much more expensive part of town to buy a house in. Ladue has some of the most expensive homes in the state of Missouri. So a lot of your options are gonna start in the 600s and 700s, and I mean, it just goes up from there. If you just have to find something in Ladue and you want to be in a lower price range, you could find something in the 500s or so. It'll be tiny, outdated, small lot size, probably backing up to a road or a highway or something. I mean, a lot of the choices in Ladue will start in the 700s and 800s, and they'll go up into the multiple 7 and 8 figures. It's just an expensive part of town to buy in. If you're looking anywhere between 700 and $1 million, you can definitely find that in Ladue. It'll be probably an older brick style home, maybe 3,000 to 3,500 square feet on a 1/4 acre to a 1/2 acre lot. Probably gonna be older, maybe updated on the inside, but Ladue does have a lot of older homes. And then moving up from there, if you're looking between 1 million and 1.5 to 2 million, you'll get a bigger, nicer, potentially newer built house with a bigger backyard, in-ground pool if you wanted. You'll have a lot more options in that range in Ladue. And if you want something huge, extravagant, custom built, I mean, going up from 2, 3, 4, all the way to $10 million plus in Ladue, you will have options like that as well. Like I said, Ladue is like the LA of St. Louis. It's the Greenwich, Connecticut of Missouri. If you're looking at $3 million, 10,000 square foot houses, it'll be in Ladue. And these days they are flying off the shelves, I kid you not. Ladue is an area that actually has a threshold for that price range. I mean, anywhere else in St. Louis, a $3 million house is gonna sit on the market for a while and it's tough to sell. In Ladue, they're selling like that these days. Like, they are flying off the shelves. Ladue just has a very old money style of elegance, that generational wealth kind of feel. You'll see a mix of these older kind of traditional mansions in Ladue and some brand new custom built estates as you got new money coming into Ladue. So like I said, Ladue can be very expensive to own in. Ladue has homes between $1 million and $10 million. I mean, you will see it all in Ladue. So if you want something similar and in the same area or in the same school district, but at a lower price range, check out an area like Olivet or Creve Coeur or Warson Woods. They're all right there in that area. All of Olivet has Ladue Schools, and parts of Creve Coeur have Ladue Schools. Creve Coeur is kind of half and half between Parkway North and Ladue. So if you're looking at moving to St. Louis and considering Ladue, it can be a great choice, but it can be expensive. Pretty much everything else in St. Louis is cheaper than Ladue, except probably Huntleigh and maybe Clayton. So Ladue is expensive, which is why, honestly, people choose to move elsewhere, like Kirkwood or Chesterfield or somewhere in St. Charles County, where your money goes a lot further than it does in Ladue. Honestly, $1 million doesn't go very far in Ladue, unless you want like a teardown house. I mean, sometimes if there's an older ranch on multiple acres on a wooded lot, That'll go for 1.2, 1.5 million just as a plain teardown in Ladue. Now, I'm not saying $1 million isn't very much money, because it definitely is. It just doesn't go very far in Ladue. So take a look at this. This is a house in Ladue listed for $1,075,000. This is a real house for sale. Now, it's not bad. It's about 3,000 square feet, but then take a look at another house at the same exact price in Wildwood. I kid you not. These are both for sale right now. One's in Ladue, one's in Wildwood, twice the size. I mean, look at the difference in what it gets you. I'm not even kidding. I'm dead serious. It probably sounds like I'm being sarcastic. These two houses are the same price. So that's what I mean when I say that a lot of people will sometimes choose to go further out west to buy a house instead of living in Ladue, because honestly, $1 million doesn't buy as much in Ladue as it does in a lot of other places in St. Louis. So if you're moving to the St. Louis area and you want help with the process of buying a house, whether it's in Ladue or anywhere else, especially these days in this crazy hot real estate market, do not hesitate to give me a call or shoot me a text or send an email, whatever works for you. My contact info is right there below. I work with people every single week who are coming to St. Louis for the first time, trying to figure out where they fit in within the community and where they want to live for their family and their goals, and it is my favorite part of my job. So anything I can do for you, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send an email, and we can go from there. So until next time, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.